Hi, true crimers. I'm Tasha. I like to sit down and talk about crimes that literally WTF me, and this has to be one of them. So John Makeris finds himself in an interview room with Texas Rangers. The body of his wife, Laura, has been found dead in her home. So at first, police believe this was a robbery gone wrong. The safe in their home was empty, and there was no witnesses to the crime. So they had very little to go on, and the case was like unsolved for a while until the governor of Texas decided to call in a UCI member and put him on the case, and found he found a lot of evidence that pointed to John. I mean, this was no ordinary police officer, basically a Texas Ranger. um The truth is, the ranger has gathered evidence that led him to believe that John paid two men to kill his wife. The two men are James Villetta and Jesus Trevino. James and Jesus had already been arrested on unrelated charges. The ranger starts to lay out everything on the line to John in the interview room, and it starts with Jesus's girlfriend. So she posted like on Facebook or something holding a weapon, a gun. And the gun was the same caliber weapon that had killed Laura, John's wife. So Lorena Rodriguez was the one that posted a picture and who was Jesus's girlfriend. So she gets interviewed by police, and she tells police that 1 year prior to Laura's murder, that Jesus told her that John was going to pay him $9,000 to kill Laura. And so with her being afraid that Jesus would really go through with this, she actually called the police. So she called up Dallas detectives and told them everything that Jesus said. She gave him all the information, how they were going to do it, where, and detectives actually took the report, recorded the conversation, and they ran John's name, they ran Laura's name, and they even handed it off to like public safety or something like that. And for some reason, these damn detectives did not follow through with it, because if they had, this woman would have been saved. She would be alive today, right? Like, WTF. I can't believe that the police did not like take this seriously and help her. But the ranger then brings up messages exchanged between Jesus and James, which basically it's Jesus telling James the plan, like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. John's gonna pay me $9,000. Da 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 da. So, and James was taken in, and he spills the entire case, like tells everything, and so does Jesus. So they both get taken in. They both say the same exact story, everything like that. But so basically, James was the driver, and Jesus went in and acted like it was a robbery, emptied the safe, and killed Laura. And all of this was because John didn't want to get married. Like, his wedding was approaching fast. Like, the mother-in-law was coming to town, like the wedding dresses, and he's actually yelling at Jesus, like, you need to get your shit together. Like, I don't want to marry this woman. And he didn't want to lose custody of his kid. So I guess James was afraid that if he told her that he didn't want to marry her, that she was going to leave or something and take the kid. So that was his fear, and that's what he was trying to stop, was kill her before the wedding so he didn't have to go through with it, because he didn't have the balls to freaking tell her, no, I don't want to marry you. Like, that would have been so much easier, right? Like, I get when kids are involved, it gets messy and it's hard, but seriously, now the wife's gone and now you're gonna be gone, right? So who, like, Never works. But anyways, they all have this app too. I guess John uses this app that records every phone call automatically. So even though Jesus tossed his phone a day after the murder, everything was backed up to the iCloud. So the ranger actually got all those recorded phone calls between all three men and actually tracked their locations, and it actually showed Jesus picking up James at his hotel room, going to the house to do the deed, and then all three men, John, Jesus, and James, were all found their phone tracked to Home Depot meeting up. So yeah, and also too, they found a backpack in James's hotel room, which everyone said it was Jesus's. And I guess Jesus, when he did the deed, he put the gun and his clothes that he did it with back in the backpack. And he ditched the gun and the clothes, but he forgot the backpack. And so they were able to get DNA that had the blood of Laura on there. So, yeah, that's basically, John had no criminal record. He's never been in trouble. I believe he was an engineer, but Jesus was just messy about it. He like contacted like 6 to 7 people to like ask them to help and told them the plan. Like, you are not like, and Jesus is like, I think they mentioned that he had already, like, this was his third person he's killed. So hopefully he gets death row and never gets out, which I'm assuming that that's going to happen. But with John not having a criminal record, I know that the ranger, when he was interviewing John, was basically trying to get him to, like, obviously he's guilty. He hired these men, but these men are career criminals and John isn't. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I know that they all are in jail and they all, obviously have capital murder cases, but I just saw the interview of the ranger interviewing John. That's what his son got the case notes from. But yeah, I just, WTF. Like, why did detectives go through the whole thing, recording the phone call, taking notes, even passing the thing along, and not do anything about it? Like, this poor lady, she would have been saved, right? Like, she would be alive today if investigators would have just done their stinking homework. Like, WTF. So my heart goes out to Laura and her family and the kids as well. To be killed, because I get the kids. I know a lot of people kill each other over kids and money, greed, obviously. There was no money in this, but he just didn't want to get married to her. And really, like, listen, if somebody doesn't, you better tell me if you don't want to marry me, okay? Don't just take my life. Like, just nonsense, right? Like, she died because he didn't want to marry her and he wanted the kids, which I get. A lot of murders are based around kids and custody, and a lot is greed. I get that. But just a senseless act that took place, just work hard. You had no criminal record, John. Like, he could have easily fought for his kids. Like, I believe he was an engineer, so I mean, he made good money, hard worker. Like, he could have fought for them, like, so sad. Again, my heart goes out to Laura and her family and the kids, and I'm glad that all three are locked up and, they're paying the price for this, because it was just a senseless murder. Like, so sad. But that's my case that WTF me, because of the police mainly, but also the reasoning. Everybody stay safe, be kind, and until next time, have a good night.